Well, there's plenty of good news to justify it, but I don't think I was expecting to see Tesla right now, apparently shooting for all-time highs again. The markets are up nicely, but I'm not impressed overall with the market action right now. My gut tells me that the rally is running out of steam, not long term, but at least for the short term. On the other hand, I've got AJ saying that historically the stock market does very, very well the last 2 weeks of December. I don't know. My gut, the historical, who knows which direction we're going to go, but meanwhile, Tesla started off kind of up a couple of bucks and then it went big time down. That was probably Kathy Wood selling some more. I believe that's who it is that comes in that first 10 minutes. You see it all the time. First 10 minutes, stock goes down, uh, uh, you know, radically, and then it may or may not correct after that. Well, this morning it corrected strongly. Last time I checked was up 7. Just for fun, let's take a look right now. Yeah, now it's up $9. We're at 427, so only $2 in change from the all-time high. It did not penetrate 430 last time. Anyway, we'll check it again in about 15 minutes and see where we are. The bulls are definitely in charge of Tesla. And we'll see again how that works out. Well, from Chazman this morning. This is Chuck Cook. The version 13.2, the FSD 13.2, released to a few of us, has been jaw-dropping in its performance. Now, you know that Chuck Cook, he's not like one to hyperbolize. He's not one, he tries to be extremely straight up in terms of his responsibility as a reporter on this. And he says it is better in almost every area. It is obvious that the improved lower latency and higher resolution cameras are making a difference. We don't even have the larger model yet, from the Cortex. The addition of Cortex to enable faster training cycles should make this only look like the beginning. Hoping for the best for the HW3 owners. Yeah, well, they'll trade us out. Hoping the best for the HW3 owners as the differences are really starting to show between hardware versions. And Elon Musk personally replied to this one. He says, game changer. So there you go. Now, this is, that's good news. And there's going to be apparently a big thing on Farzad this morning. I guess I'll probably have to watch that, where 4 or 5 of these individuals who have version 13 are all going to get together and talk about their experiences. I think they should just release the version 13 to the rest of us. Anyway, but other huge news, and I doubt if this is moving the market this morning, but it might be. FSD in China is coming later this month or in January. And Tesla, according to Sawyer Merritt and others, Tesla Roddy adds this color. It says, it is quite interesting to see Tesla releasing ASS to several countries, considering that it is a completely driverless feature. Thought. While FSD supervised is Tesla's most advanced solution today, it can only be used with a human in the driver's seat, where ASS is designed to operate without a human in the car. With this in mind, Tesla may be using ASS as a way to test the waters in markets where the company may be considering a potential FSD supervised rollout. Previous reports have suggested that Tesla is laying the groundwork for a release of FSD supervised in China. And yes, I think we'll see that in the new year, maybe even in the first quarter. European standards are probably going to be released in the first quarter. My guess would be that NISTA will have some interesting things to say. Now, there's a lot of conversation back and forth by very smart people about what's going to happen with regard to local regulations in the United States for supervised or unsupervised or completely automated cars. I really think that the goal is going to be to have a national standard where states and localities would have to make a very big point of being different, of being stronger, and not weaker, but stronger in what they're requiring. I just think they're going to fall in line. I'm not really seeing this as a big barrier. We'll see. If we get some national standards, and if the UN standards, the European standards, if all of those come in and give us some evidence of kind of generally what people are looking for and what they're hoping for. Okay, so as an example, here's Switzerland. Switzerland has approved fully autonomous vehicles from March 2025 forward, according to Tesla Thomas. He goes under Mr. Tesla Tom, and that's MR, not Mr. spelled out, but Mr. Tesla Tom. Vehicle approval. Vehicles with automation systems need a type approval, requiring manufacturers to prove safety and flow management during operation, with registration handled by cantons. Cantons? What's a canton? Anyway, this is what I've been saying all along. The UN, the European Union, the United States, whoever else might want to come up with their own set, China, come up with their own set of regulations, they're going to have to rely on Tesla and or other companies, Waymo, whatever, to give them the data. So that's what it just said here, requiring manufacturers to prove safety. So what is safety? And right now in the United States, safety would be Waymo. I believe that Tesla is already safer than Waymo right now. Let me know in the comments below if you think that Waymo is actually safer than Tesla, even in this narrow range of places where Waymo can drive. I think that Tesla is safer in those areas than Waymo is. But overall, Tesla can go anywhere, making it by far the safer solution. All right, Chris 𝐒𝐚𝐽𝐝, I should listen to how he pronounces his name. On his regular Dumb Money podcast about a month ago, I missed this, watched it last night. Very relevant. He says he has seen human robots up close at a couple of different factories and personally watched them doing magical things, including useful work that would be useful in a factory. He says he has multiple sources from within Tesla telling him that Optimi are currently doing useful tasks of the same magical nature in the Tesla factories, fully autonomous. This was a month ago. He believes that his own experience and the reports he has received would tell him that the ChatGPT moment for humanoids is 3 to 9 months away, which would now be 2 to 8 months away. And he's ready to make his largest bet ever when that reveal is at hand. It could be any one of these companies that would reveal substantially watching robots doing useful work in a factory. He would prefer an event over a video, but either way, he's ready to make this big bet. Now, this maybe didn't make a lot of news at the time, although I still think it should have, because it's really just confirmation of what Elon has already said. 1,000, he said, or thousands, and then an employee more recently, an engineer has more recently said, no, thousands working in the factory this 2025 year. If you have thousands, now listen to me, if you have thousands working, you have to justify those numbers. You're not going to have 2,000 robots doing one task, okay? They're all going to be sorting batteries. No, you're not going to have them doing 2 jobs. No, the key here is that if you got thousands working, they're going to be doing hundreds or maybe even 500 different tasks. Maybe 1,000 different tasks. They're going to be doing every kind of task that they can be, because you can't justify the thousands unless they're doing lots of different things, putting on wheels, assembling various parts, polishing, getting up inside of something like a human. I mean, welding, all kinds of different tasks. That's what we're gonna have to be able to see. And when we see that, game over. It's gonna be crazy. All right. Now, I'd like to see them doing it at human speed. That would be even better if that happens. Like I say, anyway, he dismisses, however, that the robotaxis, he says the robotaxis just insignificant, pales by comparison. He says, great, bring on the robotaxis, but it's just going to be it'll be this much of the business compared to Optimus being that much of the business. He gives his analysis. He believes that they will have 1 million Teslas in action in 2030 at $100,000 per year rent. He says that gives it a $10 trillion market cap. I'm not going to go through the math. I think that the idea that they would only have 1 million deployed in 2030 is laughable. I'm sorry, Chris. I know you're smart. You made way more money in the stock market than I have, and you're in these factories and you're talking to these people and you've got all kinds of insider information. The idea that Tesla combined with all the other manufacturers or Tesla themselves would only have 1 million deployed by 2030. That's a joke. I don't even know how you could come up with such a low number. And I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out why anybody. You're going to see Warren and I arguing about this weekend. I think either on Saturday or Sunday, he and I will be arguing about this very thing. Warren thinks that the numbers will be smaller than I do by a lot. So we'll see what happens. I just don't think it's that hard to get the ramp up on this. I don't see why it's going to be harder to ramp an Optimus than it is to ramp a car. So I think we'll be talking about millions, not million in 2030. But okay, either way, it's going to be massive. Okay. He does believe, of course, Chris believes it'll be the biggest product ever in the history of man. Potentially, total sales could be as high as 50% of world GDP today. Because why? It'll expand world GDP by a lot. From Daiwa Capital Markets, they have raised the Tesla price target from 420 from 285. Okay, Daiwa cited potential regulatory tailwinds under President-elect Donald Trump's administration, which could accelerate Tesla's robotaxi deployment. We've heard that song before, and they are now one of the highest on the street at 420. And then Rich Ross with ISI, according to Simon Hale 007, Rich Ross with ISA is without a doubt the best technical analyst on the street. He is now calling for Tesla to $700 a share. Well, I think he probably is the best analyst on the street, period, if he's calling for $700 a share. For those of you who are not regulars on this channel, that is my number for later in 2027. 2025. Let me reiterate, however, my 700 does not include a major deployment of Robotaxi. It does not include a reveal of Optimus. If we get one or both of those things in 2025, 700 will look like, you'll be looking at 700 in the rearview mirror in a big way. It's really hard to know how far the stock will go above 700 because we don't know yet exactly how the business plan will work on Robotaxi, and we have no idea, except that Elon has said he could sell and/or rent. We don't know what rental per year. We don't know what price yet he's thinking of selling these things at, and we don't have an expectation yet of what the production would look like from Elon or from somebody at Tesla. We just have Randy versus Chris. Speaking of that, this is Randy. I'm Randy Kirk. Please hit like and subscribe and notify. We've got Larry coming up later today, and then Brian Wang will be talking about his projections for the stock. He looks at it from a technical and a fundamental standpoint. He follows a lot of different technical analysts, so that it's going to be very interesting tonight. That'll be about 7:45. And then, as I mentioned, all weekend long, it's going to be Warren and Brian Wang. That's who are going to be substantial, several videos over the weekend from both of those two extremely good prognosticators. Okay. This, don't forget now, we're really getting close to Christmas. It's time for you to make a decision. Really great magnetic box. You open it up, it looks super in the box. The camouflage looks good in there too. Information below. Send your money. PayPal.me/Randy Kirk. Thank you for all the orders so far. I appreciate it. Helps the channel, but it makes you happy, and it's going to make the people you give it as a gift, they're going to make them happy too. It's time to buy. We got plenty in stock, shipping everything out by 3-day, except for single units. Those will take 5 to 6 days in the East Coast, but like 2 to 3 days on the West Coast. All right. Here we go. Prices this is the only breaking big news this morning on the economic front. Prices for U.S. imports increased only 0.1% in November after rising 1.1% in October, and export prices were unchanged in November following a 1% advance the previous month, so 0 in this month. Over the past year, import prices increased 1.3% and export prices only rose 0.8%. So, hey, the import-export side of things is going very well with the inflation. Not so much anything else, but that part of it is looking good. The 𝐒𝐭𝐮𝐫𝐝𝐲 letter this morning, he says, breaking, the U.S. budget deficit spiked by a massive $367 billion in November. This was $14 billion above the median expectation. $14 billion above the median expectation. For the first 2 months of the fiscal year 2025, the total deficit now stands at $624 billion, the highest on record for the first 2 months of the year, of the fiscal year. This is up a staggering 64% from the $380 billion last year, 64% on top of the massive increases and way above the 2020 pandemic levels. To put this in perspective, the budget gap was 3 times lower on average during the 2013 to 2017 period. The debt crisis is worsening. And the solution, of course, this is Randy speaking now, is Doge. I mean, this is just nuts. It appears that the Biden administration is purposely spending money hand over fist, trying to mess up the incoming Trump administration. But that would be silly, right? I mean, because that just messes up the country. They're spending money like a drunken sailor. This is crazy. 64% higher than last year for the first 2 months of the year. How can they justify that? Let me know in the comments below. How can the Biden administration justify a 64% increase? Because it's extremely inflationary and it's not good in general for our future. Anyway, this is from Elon Clips X, ELON Clips X. Peter Thiel quoted yesterday, the consensus in Washington is that Doge is going nowhere. But I'd say to you, you should never bet against Elon, and you should never bet against Peter Thiel either. The strong consensus view in the DC establishment is the Doge is going to go nowhere. That is just absolutely impossible. That is absolutely impossible to fix things. And this is going to be a very frustrating dead end. The alternative view, I would say, is that you should never bet against Elon, says Thiel. We all know there's an extraordinary amount of waste and it's unsustainable. The 6% GDP deficits in the U.S. cannot be sustained. That's probably cannot even be sustained for even the rest of this decade. There are 2 ways to resolve them. You can cut spending and cut waste, or you can raise taxes massively. Well, he says he takes this election in the U.S. standing for the proposition we're not going to go to European-style socialist route of having massive tax hikes. That suggests you need to try something like the Doge thing, and that's exactly what's going to happen. That was an interview with Piers Morgan. Piers Uncensored is the name of that program on December 12th, just the other day. And then Elon replied to that. He says, Peter is right on all counts. All right, go Doge, right? Let me know in the comments below if you think it is going to be a useless waste of time or if it is going to be. By the way, while we've been away, Tesla did break through the all-time high and hit $430.40. It is now back down to $428.38 after hitting that all-time high. Pretty cool, huh? All right, let's see here. What else do we know about the markets this morning? We have got the Dow, which was up, is now down. See, I told you I didn't have good feelings about the overall equity market this morning. So the Dow is now down $1.79. The NASDAQ is falling. It was up. Now it's still up, but it's only up 52.30. S&P only up 6.04. The Dow is back up again, but 1.71. Tesla is up $10.53. We've got all the Magnificent Seven, though, down. All the rest are down. See, sometimes my gut is right. I don't know why I'm getting it so wrong on Tesla right now. I agree. All the news is great, and Tesla is the most undervalued, undervalued stock anywhere of any time. It's crazy. It should be $800 a share right now if it was properly valued. So who knows? It might go to 800. But I was hoping to get, I could have done it this morning. I could have gotten back in right about where I got out on those leaps, but I didn't do it. Okay, because it was at 416, in the overnights. And yeah, anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. I don't care. I'll get in higher. Doesn't bother me. All right, let's go. We got the Cathie Woods Also, mostly down. PayPal and Square are up, but the rest are down. I'm guessing that potentially PayPal and Square are up because the Bitcoin is up. Yeah, okay. So yeah, so the markets are okay, percentage wise. Again, the Dow is up slightly at this point, 0.01, NASDAQ up 0.36, S&P up 0.14, and Tesla's up 2.91. In terms of the Mag 7, all of them are down marginally, less than 1%. All right, so let's look at where those bonds have gone this morning. To this part of the reason why things are yeah. See, this is my concern, my big concern. The bonds are up 4.5. The 10-year is up 4.5 basis points. You've got the 2-year is up 3.4 basis points. You've got the 1 month up 0.4 basis points. Now, the good news is, I lied to you. I did not look this morning to see where the 2 month and the 3 month are. So you've now got, though, the 10-year is above the 1 month. Okay. So that is a reinversion of that 1 month. I'm very sorry for not checking on the 2 month and the 3 month. I'll do that during the day. I got to remember to do that. Okay. So that's very interesting. But these bonds being up this strongly, you're talking about the 10-year is now back at 4.367. We could be going back to 4.5. This is not good news. The bond market is saying inflation is still a problem. Take it for what it's worth, but that's what's going on. All right. Let's go ahead to the oil market is back up over $70 on Texas Intermediate, $70.66. Brent at 73.92, back to almost $3 in that difference. Natural gas is down 4.2% this morning. It's big time down, but still at $3.31. Gold continues down back under 27 at 26.76, down 33 this morning. Silver continues down at just under 31, down 2.48% this morning. And copper also down 1.14% at $4.20, but that's still pretty good. The dollar is set for the best week of the month, up this morning, and Bitcoin also up 1369 at $101,304. All right, so generally speaking, I would say there is an ebbing positivity. It's still positive. The markets are still positive, but this bond thing, this inflation thing is weighing now. I thought we would be past it. We are not past it. Inflation is weighing. The Fed decision next week, everybody thinks it's going to be, to cut the quarter. I think it'll be to cut the quarter, but I think there will be a note in there about inflation, a little bit of a hawkish note. And Tesla, by the way, just that reminder again to get your Cybertruck bottle openers, get them ordered. You want 4, you need 5, you need 10. Anything over 4 and up, it's $20 a piece. I mean, how much a better deal can you find than that? So where are we? Tesla, $430.80 right now. I'll put a card right here because last night I did a thing. I did a thing on leaps. Some of you were asking, how do you do those leaps things? So I did it. I redid. I updated my analysis of how I do leaps and I think it's like 14 rules of how I do leaps in order to make sure that I don't lose money and that I make lots. And so far this year, doubled my leap investment. It's not bad. But I know we've all done great this year. I'm no genius. We've all done amazingly well this year because why? Because we're in Tesla. Okay. That's join Patreon. That'd be great too. It has been great talking to you this morning. If I could get out of here.